yangu buseninda la nangula chiro oke bose tulive na kuyalelo tevyo bayepi amita pendwa ya vintu ifisume vyoto kula kuibukisha kana depotimo wimbo wa temenu wa katongi abazunga batita katongi nakula kuibukisha kateka aibukubuna kapona neseko siove pamenso yangu ama umebaya iyaba ume iyaba ume
kateka wabantu iyaba ume twakulira lelo twakulira iyaba ume shikakukonke milimo shove Eti kume mokulo dolole abale lilo mwingi
Iseko mwingi mwakwete Iseso mwingi mwakwete Mwaya mwende wino tata wesu
Katushi muchi wakege Wali bomba kale Lomba mwatuja tuleli lake
Sunday, 14th September 2025. Hope you had a wonderful day today and hope you had found time to praise God and go to church. For those that worship on yesterday, on Saturday, hope you also found time to do something to do with your family. Today we are discussing a review of President Hakainde Hichilema's last address to Parliament. There'll be an address in February, January, February, which has to do with national principles and values. But the main official opening of Parliament, this was his last address. Remember, Parliament has, in every session, there are 5 sessions. So the president opened, in 5 years, there are 5 sessions. So the president opened the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. This is a current National Assembly, it's the 13th. And the session he opened is the 5th, the last one, for the next 1 year until we go to elections. What was your reflection? What do you think was impactful in that speech? We have our own criticism. I think that is not different from the last 4 years, that it is anchored on a lot of promises and pledges, which is too late, because the president has a litany of broken promises that we are coming from. And he's optimistic tone that the economy is on the way to recovery, that we are doing very well. We'll delve into that. Is that true? Do these figures reflect reality? That's the purpose of today's address. But let me get from themselves. I need to hasten that I'll be joined by Queen Pumi. Madam Stumbeko will be joining me in this address. I gave her a request quite late, but I hope that she will join me in the next 5-10 minutes when we go full throttle into this debate. There are other developments that have occurred. The U.S. Embassy has just republished the executive order by President Donald Trump that there will be severe consequences for any government that unnecessarily harasses or arrests, detains its citizen. And remember, we have a young girl, Ethel Chisoni Edwards, that was literally hijacked over the week, on Friday from where she was having her lunch, and she's been taken away. People don't even know where she is. The trouble with the case of Ethel Chisoni Edwards, it's just not that she, government deems that she insults President Hakainde Hichilema. The trouble is, this is an American citizen. And why did the U.S. Embassy decide to republish the executive order that was signed recently by President Donald Trump? What are they saying? And you have a Zambian delegation going to the UN next week. A large delegation is listed to travel. The president is attending the 25th United Nations General Assembly, which has begun. It began on 10th September, technical meetings, official meetings, ambassadors meetings. Ministers will be meeting next week, which culminates. Is my volume okay? Let me take this call. No, I can't take it. Is my volume okay? If my volume is okay, you can put in a comment and tell me where you are watching us from. Currently live, and we'll be reviewing President Hichilema's last address to Parliament. There are other peripheral issues we'll tackle, like this U.S. ambassador's republication of the executive order of whoever harasses American citizens. I found Henry Kapata's summary of the budget very informative. Let me see if I can find it, but let me just give me a moment. Let me see if I can find Henry Kapata's.
On Friday, 12th September 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema opened the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly under the theme Consolidating Economic and Social Gains Towards a Prosperous, Resilient and Equitable Zambia. Okay? This year's address came as a defining moment for the country. Zambia is emerging from both years of fiscal distress and the devastating 2023-2024 drought.
Tazama pipeline. Further, government continues to work on a process aimed at constructing a new multi-product pipeline between Zambia and Tanzania. This is a huge investment. We're inviting the private sector. The government doesn't have a balance sheet to do it. Even if we had, we don't want public money to be used that way.
The president's message was straightforward. The economy is recovering. Agriculture is breaking records. Mining is expanding, energy diversification is accelerating, and social investments are reaching every corner of the country.
Mobile phone penetration now extends 71.8% compared to 63.3% in 2021. Internet subscriptions reached 13.5 million people compared to 10.4 million people in 2021. In 2024, mobile money transactions, Madam Speaker, even yourself will be surprised. Mobile money transactions reached an unprecedented 486 billion kwacha through mobile money. Absolutely. It's a revolution. It's a revolution. With 12.9 million active accounts. In a population of 20 million people, 12.9 million people are active on mobile money.
The economy is on a firmer ground. Growth averaged 5.2% between 2021 and 2024, compared to only 1.5% in the years before. Inflation has dropped from 23% in 2021 to 12.6% this August, easing the pressure on households. Over 92% of Zambia's external debt has been restructured, freeing resources from schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Number 2, infrastructure development. Government is pushing ahead with road construction and rehabilitation to connect communities and easy trade.
In the case of the upgrading to bituminous standard of my beloved Chipata-Chadiza Road, Chipata-Chadiza Road, significant progress is being made, and this month I'll be visiting that road. Chadiza-Chipata. Yes, Honorable Daka, on these roads we can do more. We're doing things, we can do more. I'm asking my colleagues in infrastructure, in engineers, for us to be more innovative, to uptake new technologies, to do the works that we need. I think we can do it. We are also improving rural roads connectivity across the country. Since 2021, we have rehabilitated 2,450 kilometers of rural roads. In addition, local authorities have worked on 860 kilometers of feeder roads through the Enhanced Constituency Development Fund.
Number 3, agriculture is driving growth and food security. Maize production hit a record 3.7 million metric tons, more than double last season's output, with projections above 4 million. Zambia is now the largest maize seed producer in sub-Saharan Africa, producing over 94,000 metric tons of seed. Yes, 94,000 metric tons of seed. Irrigated land has reached 200,000 hectares with a target of 500,000 by 2027, ensuring year-round farming. Fertilizer plants at United Capital and NCZ are fully operational, guaranteeing farmers reliable inputs. Number 4, mining and energy expansion. Copper production has grown to 821,000 metric tons in 2024 and is on track for 1 million tons this year. Investments, 1.25 billion Kansanshi expansion, 25 years more life for the mine. 1.1 billion Mopani recapitalization, 2,000 jobs. 2 billion Lumwana super pit expansion, higher output from 2028.
So your country is investing money in this. And I think it's an investment which is well meant. What this survey is going to do, Madam Speaker, in addition to identifying resources, but the attendant improvements of attracting investments.
Small-scale miners are also included, with over 1,400 artisanal licenses issued, mostly for gold. On energy, 740 megawatts of solar is being rolled out across 7 provinces within the next 12 months, alongside the 300 megawatts Mamba expansion as part of the 10 gigawatts. Mission 300 plan to electrify 3.2 million Zambians by 2030. Next, tourism, trade and investment confidence. International tourist arrivals reached a record 2.2 million in 2024. Non-traditional exports grew to 3.6 billion United States dollars, powered by honey, beef, maize, seed and cement. The Lusaka Security Exchange grew by 55.8% in 2025, the highest in the region. Special economic zones have attracted 2.9 billion United States dollars investments, creating 48,000 jobs. Over 2,000 boreholes and 491 piped water schemes have expanded clean water access, governance and rule of law. 16 billion CDF disbursed since 2022, devolving real functions to districts. The Access to Information Act is now fully in force. Zambia's Corruption Perception Index improved from 117th place 2021 to 92 globally. Legal aid has reached 55,000 citizens, and high courts are now operating in all 10 provinces. To sum up, the president set the tone. Zambia is consolidating economic and social gains, building resilience, and opening new frontiers for investment and trade. Roads are being built and completed. Agriculture is feeding the nation and region. Mining is attracting billions in new capital, and young people are being educated for a modern economy. This is Zambia's moment of renewal, anchored in discipline, opportunity, and a clear vision for prosperity.
Thank you very much, and I'll be joined by Queen Pumi. She'll be coming. There are various issues we are discussing. There is a hopeful review of the speech by Henry Kapata. He's done a wonderful job, but is at the state of the economy. First, there is large looming, as announced by Government Chief Whip Stafford Mulusa. Honorable Stafford Mulusa said Bill 7 is coming to Parliament. So look at the intransigency by government. Then the criticism of this speech itself. Let me just give my brief reflection before Queen Pumi comes in about this national address. Is preceded by a national budget. The national budget to be presented on the 26th next week by Dr. Msogotwane. So this acts as a preview of the budget. My concern, just a minute. Let's start with number one. They are saying growth rate of 5.2% since 2021. You know it's not true. If you look at the budget that was presented in 2021, his first budget in September 2021, he predicted growth rate of 3.5%. Midway in the year in 2022, they revised it to about 2.5%. 2023, the same growth rate of 4.5% was predicted. Midway, they revised it, that the economy didn't expand as anticipated. It came down round to around 2%. 2024, projection of 4.5%, 4.7%. Again, midway, they came to acknowledge that we had the worst drought in 100 years and that the economic expansion that was deemed to take place couldn't take place. Now we had load shedding in full throttle where Zambians were not having power, sometimes 2 to 3 hours of power the whole day, sometimes going many days. So the economy shrank. IMF put the number, and World Bank put the number at 1%. IMF put it at around 1.5%. Musokotwane himself was hopeful. He put it at 2%. Then towards the end of 2024, when there were changes at Zambia Statistics Agency, we saw these revised statistics that actually the economy was growing to between 4 to 6%. Everyone got shocked. What economic growth? First, there is no money in the economy. The exchange rate is extremely volatile. You are facing the worst drought in 100 years. You've put out a begging bowl of $900 million that you are looking for. Where did the 6%, 4 to 6% growth rate come from? This is where economists began to doubt the credibility of our numbers. After the changes were done at the Zambia Statistics Agency, all of a sudden, Tonga became the second widely spoken language in Zambia. All of a sudden, our life expectancy rate jumped from somewhere around 49% to 69%. We want to acquire. So these primary figures then began to engineer the rates and numbers that you are now seeing being quoted by Bloomberg and by the president in his speech. The numbers are not credible. Because just look at a review of their own numbers they've given us from 2021. So where did this 5.2% from 2021 come from? I don't know if they think that we have forgotten. I don't know if they think that we'll not read. I don't know if they take it for granted that we'll not review or remember what they say. That's why we always play their videos, because when you put them against a wall, they say you are lying. They say it's propaganda. So sometimes the best way is just to play their own videos. And God oh my. So the number of 5.2%, like many economists have said, we can doubt the numbers. They are not credible. We don't know what's happening at the Zambia Statistics Agency. And if we begin to doubt national statistics released by an official constitutional agency, you know the trouble you have. Institutions should lead. Institutions should guide. But if you have no faith in the institution, that's the death of your democracy. That's your death of credibility. You'll be like those funny countries that call themselves the People's Democratic Power, when there's nothing democratic about those countries. You know, People's Democratic whatever, you know there's nothing democratic about those countries. This is where we are heading to. The president said he has restructured 92% of Zambia's external debt. That's a lie. He has not. The IMF puts it at 49%. Where is the 92% coming from? They're the people they've spoken to. They have not even restructured the half the debt with the private sector. They have not even finished their own debt with Exim Bank of China. Only 49% of the debt has been restructured. But President Hakainde Hichilema shamelessly gave the number of 92%. You review the numbers by the IMF. One of the reasons they didn't give Musokotwane the additional $1.5 billion at the end of this 8-month $1.7 billion that they've obtained was that Zambian government has not restructured its debt. Further, Zambian government has not even attended to the local debt. There's something worrying happening about the local debt. It's in excess of $10 billion. Our people, contractors, suppliers, government bonds, treasury bills that are due to the banks. There's a huge fund that is due this year. In fact, there were fears by many economists that we might see a banking crisis unless government restructures this debt or pays what is due. So we have an outstanding local debt in excess of $10 billion. It has not been restructured. Musokotwane just keeps on saying, we'll pay it between now and in the next 5 years. How do you deal with your people like that? The president said the kwacha has now stabilized. Has it? Has it? Can we assume that the last 3-4 weeks stability of the kwacha, jumping from 28 kwacha to 23 kwacha, now going up again to 24 kwacha, is stability? What has happened the last 3-4 years? Is volatility of the worst kind. It has been difficult for our people to plan. It's been difficult for our people to, yes, we are an import-oriented country. And when you cannot determine what the rate will be next week, it becomes a problem. Because you will import things at the price of 28 kwacha. And then the exchange rate all of a sudden, without exports, without any fundamentals, appreciates to 23 kwacha. Who bears the loss? That's why even the inflation rate that is given is also not credible, because of the constant volatility that has been in the exchange rate market. It has affected our fuel, because in one day your fuel will jump up, will come down, say yo-yo. And like I said, we're an import-oriented country. We are facing the worst cost of living crisis since time immemorial. People have never seen this type of cost of living crisis. It's now hovering around 11,300 kwacha for a family of 6. And how much, for example, do our public servants get? How much do our workers from the private sector get? If they have to spend just on food alone, charcoal and electricity, 11,300. This is before they pay rent. This is before they pay school fees. This is before they buy clothes for themselves. They require 11,300. So you are facing the worst living crisis. And then remember the crisis they caused with maize. This is in relation to the agricultural sector, which they are boasting. First, they sold the National Strategic Maize Reserve, all of it. They sold it. And we were left without food. And then we had drought. And then the price of mealie meal jumped from 120 kwacha. It went to excess of 400, 450 kwacha. They brought in ZNS to import maize. Maize we are not supposed to consume because the maize importation from South Africa is GMO. There was no formal declaration. They even arrested Thomas Ziambo, for a journalist from Whistleblower, for exposing the import of GMO which they're feeding our people. And then they claimed it was import that was going to the DRC. Then they said, but why is a freight document showing that this maize, GMO maize, is coming to Lusaka, it's going to Ndola? They couldn't tell a plausible story. They had to arrest Thomas Ziambo, who flashed the documents from ZNS and the approval that they had gotten from Cabinet Office. So it has been a disaster. Our people have been subjected to very expensive price of maize. I can see my dear sister has joined me. Maybe let me greet her. Queen Pumi, we test your volume, we test your voice. How are you, my dear sister?
Very well, Your Excellency. I am very well. I hope you're doing fine with your family.
Yeah. Dear viewers, is Queen Pumi clear? Is she clear? If she's clear, show us in the comment and share this broadcast. She's helping me review the national address by the president. We also tack on a few things, like, for example, the matter of Ethel Edward Chisoni Edward. People might just think, yeah, chala tukana. There are various and serious implications to that matter. Then I'll also take time to discuss this man. This is a member of parliament for Nchelenge. Is a Patriotic Front member of parliament. He has pledged support for President Hakainde Hichilema. And he says he has joined UPND and is wearing that regalia of UPND. Now, our law requires that he resigns or that the Speaker of the National Assembly expels him, declares vacant his seat, because what he has done amounts to crossing of flaws. And the trouble with the new law is that he's not even eligible to stand again because he will have caused that by-election. We'll discuss him on the side, but we are on the constitution, on the national address by the president. And I've just been joined by Queen Pumi. The Queen herself, she calls herself Queen Pumi. She has a blog spot, and you can catch her. And I requested for company at the last minute, and I'm glad that she came. Queen Pumi, we are discussing President Hakainde Hichilema's speech to Parliament. This is his last address. It's the fifth. This is the fifth session, the last address to Parliament. He will have another address in January, February, but that just deals with national values and principles. But this was his last address, and he was very optimistic. He says the economy is doing well. We are posting growth of 5.2%. He says the exchange rate is stable. He says they are doing remarkable things in the energy, agriculture, and other sectors. And I was just, as you heard, I was just criticizing every line of it, that what they are saying is not true. And at the top of the hour, we'll invite you, colleagues, dear viewers and listeners, to join in and call. The number is listed there. You can call the number. I haven't seen the number, but I think the number, it is there, 0973078082. So what were your reflections of the president, especially that you're a woman? Let me start with you. When you heard the president say that we shouldn't take matters to court, and then he eulogized the late president, President Edgar Lungu, with a lot of good words, and he prayed for the family, and he appeared somber about it, but it smacked of hypocrisy. We'll play his video and his remarks, but this is a man that has taken the family to court. He says we should never go to court, and why are they in court? and then the general review, his optimistic view of the economy. Let's start with you, Queen Pumi.
Thank you so much. I am honored to be here and to speak to Zambians on matters concerning our well-being, our democracy, and basically, I think our politics in Zambia have become a matter of life and death. On the issue of resolving matters out of court, as stated by the president, for me, I was just like, wow, is this the president talking or is somebody else? Because we have come to the harsh reality of accepting the weaknesses of President Hakainde Hichilema, and the major weakness or flaw is that he says one thing, and when it's the opposite that is actually happening. And on Friday, we saw this again. For those of you who doubt us, or those of you who are continuously praising the president, I think this Friday was another opportunity to confirm that the president will always say one thing, and then what is actually happening is the opposite. So I don't want to sound insulting, but we shall call a spade, because Zambia, we have a freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and we shall call it out. It's hypocrisy. You know, the president instructed the attorney general to start this case with the Lungu family upon one failed attempt. There was only one major failed attempt to repatriate the remains on, is it June 18? They never went back to have a serious conflict resolution. When the family decided to do what they did, what they planned to do to bury His Excellency in South Africa, Vaisa Pasechiro. So, and then it is going on 4 months. The case has no end in sight. And for the president to come and say, rest in peace, I think for me, that is like stabbing in the heart. I felt actually a stab to hear the president say, rest in peace. How can Lungu rest in peace when he's still not in his final resting place or temporary resting place? The Bible says, you know, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We are holding the president's remain in some artificial refrigerator, whatever, wherever his remains are kept. It's actually very disturbing just to think about this whole situation. I wish the President Hakainde Hichilema could flip the coin and imagine if it was his wife, Madam Mutinta Hichilema, going through that. You know, I think empathy and sympathy requires us to flip the coin. Waivika munsapato shamnobe. Kweba chinga chaline. Nga bakashibandi narifwa. In the Abakashibandi, she's fighting state machinery, national and international, to a point that they even want to turn the government of South Africa against this poor family, despite political differences, whatever cases they might have had with the Lungu family. I think it is time for the president to really walk his talk and do what he says. You know, in the olden days, with a handshake, my word is my bond, is how they used to agree, and people used to, honorable men honor their word. How can you be a man of honor? Every day you say one thing and the next day you do the opposite. Apa mulela anda fimbi if they ni fimbi. So it's really disappointing coming to the issue of the president saying they are going to build 3 new airports. Again, I was like, wow. I even posted this on my page to say how can you say you are building 3 new airports when a simple road from Lusaka to Kabwe, which was fully funded with NAPSA money, and you are collecting the tolls, you have failed to complete it in 4 years? Now, news has it that only 30% of this road is completed. And when you run the numbers, nowadays we live in a digital world. If you even put it in an AI, it will tell you that 275 kilometers will take less than a year to build when fully funded. And it's not a complex road. We are not blasting tunnels like in Switzerland or in a mountainous zone. No, it's a straight road, which in countries such as the USA, they even give incentives to road whatever engineers to say, if you finish this road in a breaking time, for example, this road was supposed to be completed in maximum 10 months. They could have told them, if you complete this road 10 months earlier, we are going to give you so much bonus. So the crews, they work extra hard to make sure that they complete that road in a time, so they get a bonus, or at least the target finishing time. Now we are talking a major road between 2 industrial cities to the capital cities. Copper belt, connecting the copper belt to Lusaka. They have failed to do it in 4 years. And then the president can say we are building airports and people are clapping. Now I want to bring you to the attention that less than 10% of Zambians fly. Less than 10% of Zambians have ever taken an aeroplane or even used the aircraft to fly locally. So who is the president building these airports for? Because the Ndola Lusaka road failed to complete. We saw the Lukazungula Livingston road, where they are using these roads to extract our minerals. They are dusts. It's dangerous, it's deadly. There are accidents every day. Our roads are in a big mess. So for the president to come and say he wants to build an airport, 3 new airports, when less than 10% of Zambians use airplanes as a mode of transportation, is just a confirmation to say this is a government of elitists. Kashunga kuchua understand. Government yaba finondoro, government yaba 1%. You know, he just thinks of the rich people who can afford to fly. You know, even himself, he flies from State House to his house for lunch. Mamona, he flies, he uses a chopper. Instead of making that road connecting State House to his personal house, ngabari panga freeway paya. Pakti ngabari ingira pofye boom, vafika. Now, if he made a freeway between State House and his house, it means even all the other citizens will benefit, because kuti varendera pamusebo. So it was rhetoric. And the sad part of it, as I end on this, in my final synopsis on this budget, is like, this is the budget where the president should have nailed it. And meaning he should have been there to tell us what they have done in the 4 years. Because God willing, I pray that this will be his last address to the Zambian nation in parliament, because he has failed. Instead of coming to parliament to give us a report of what he has done in the 4 years, he came to campaign and give us more promises. So it's really a shame. I was listening to his international chief advisor, who said a few months ago, popularly known as Sia1, saying, what is HH going to tell the people in his last address? Because they have nothing to show. They have nothing they can show us to say we have done ABCD in the 4 years, give us another mandate. So basically, to sum it up, I can say that was a concession speech. He actually came out to tell the Zambians that he has failed, because there's nothing that he gave to validate his, to kick off his campaign to say we have worked. he came with more lies and more promises, and we can see through the lies. So I think maybe if he just came clean and apologized to say, give us more time to fix what we didn't manage to deliver our promises in the next term, I think it will carry more honor if he just came to us more time to say, Mwebantu, we had challenges, we are working on this. Even if he just came to make a statement to say, let me cancel load shedding so people can have electricity in the last year. But again, nothing what says about load shedding, there's no end in sight. People have 2 to 5 hours of load shedding every day. So it's really a tough pill to swallow. And I'm just appealing to all those who are cheering the president. You are the ones leading him in a ditch, because you cannot cheer wrong things. Everything is in black and white. Even if you say this is black when it is white, a lie will still be a lie. So I think Praise Singer or UPND supporters, we are trying to build a nation. And in trying to build a nation requires integrity and honesty, and apologizing and taking accountability and responsibility for your failed actions. Thank you.
Yeah, their biggest bust is in the mining sector. That, look, they are reopening Luansha mine. They are dewatering it. They've been dewatering it for the last few months. That they've got an investment of $1.1 billion in Mopani, and that KCM is running. Then they've got investment of $1.3 billion at Kansanshi, the S3 expansion line, and then the Lumwana project that Barrick Gold is going to invest $2 billion. But my biggest criticism actually is in the mining sector. First of all, let's start with Mopani. They've stolen Mopani. We don't know who bought Mopani. There's an allegation that this company associated with a sovereign fund from the United Arab Emirates bought Mopani. Mopani is such a bad deal. First of all, simultaneously, as soon as Mopani, the agreement was signed of so-called $1.1 billion, when you look at the finer details, that's where you see the fraud. First, no single amount of money has come to the Zambian treasury for exchange of 51% shareholding that ZCCM IH had. ZCCM IH had Mopani 100% by 2021 because Glencore was booking out. And remember what we've been saying. Glencore invested over $4.5 billion in this mine, Mopani. They sank 3 brand new shafts, 2 smelters, $4.5 billion investment between 2015 and 2021. So this is considered a brand new mine, highly capitalized. But they gave it away without paying a single cent. They said there was a debt to Glencore. Remember, when ZCCMIH was getting this mine, Glencore said, because Glencore was only willing to put it under maintenance and care and then send the workers away. Now, government in an election year could not allow that. How would you send the entire workforce in Kitwe, Mufulira, and others on leave when you have an election? And besides, this is a national resource. So government jumped at the idea and said, let's acquire it. Glencore said, we've just invested $4.5 billion. Government said, we don't have that kind of money. Glencore says, okay, give us marketing rights. We can recover this money from your sale of your copper from Mopani. Hence, that Mopani was sold for $1, but assumed a debt of $1.5 billion to pay Glencore. By the time President Hichilema and this deal was taking place, the amount was around $600-700 million because they had the marketing rights, and every time they sold the copper, they made their own deductions. So in this one so-called $1.1 billion debt is that the investor cleared Glencore. But what have they done? They've registered that same amount as a loan to Mopani, and under PACRA is a shareholder's loan. This is where the fraud is. And then they quickly signed agreements with Jubilee Metals, a South African company, whose chair is Muna Hantuba, a business associate of the president. So the West Dump, worth millions of dollars in Muflira, in Luansha, in Kabwe, have been given away to Jubilee Metals. So in effect, it's like they'll raise money from Jubilee Metals to run Mopani. There's no single investment that has come to Mopani. And like we've said, disclose. And why did you bypass the law? Let's go to Kansanshi. The Kansanshi deal $1.3 billion. Initially, First Quantum made it very clear that ZRI owes us $600 million and that ZRI should prioritize refunding us this VAT, which we are going to use to invest in the expansion, Kansanshi Expansion 3. So there's no money coming from anywhere. Two, First Quantum owes Kansanshi Copper and Gold Mine $2.5 billion that they had illegally externalized between 2011 and 2013 when they were investing in a mine in Panama. The trouble there is that they never declared this money. It had to take an audit to establish that they had literally stolen $2.5 billion of that money. And government took them to court, issued arrest warrants for the directors. $2.5 billion, Mwewant Queen Pumi. That's a lot of money. Let's put it in context. Musokotwane, sorry, my camera, I don't know what's happening. Musokotwane has been camping in Washington for 4 years looking for $1.3 billion, $1.5 billion from the IMF. Yet you have $2.5 billion that a mining house has. What has President Hakainde Hichilema done? He has discontinued that case. He has not given us a pathway in which we will recover that $2.5 billion. Further, he has even removed the shareholding of ZCCMIH in Kansanshi. Those shareholding of 20% have been converted to a mineral royalty payment of 3%, 3.1% annually. What this means is that ZCMIH and the Zambian government can't sit and object to some of the decisions. For example, First Quantum wants to sell those assets in Northwestern Province. You've seen the advert in Canada, you've seen the adverts in the UK, and we've talked about them. So ZCCMH cannot object because they are no longer shareholders. So the so-called deals are littered in litany of corruption. KCM in Chingola, another big disaster. Vedanta didn't pay taxes for 20 years. Vedanta cheated taxes and revenue every year. They're among those companies that were listed as exploiting Zambia when it loses $3 billion a year. Vedanta was a bad investor. It engaged in mining practices that degraded the assets of KCM. So when government, following an audit, because they were not paying taxes, they owed over $1.5 billion to ZESCO, NAPSA, contractors, CEC, and others. Government chucked them out. This government made them come back with no pathway, for example, of how they will pay $800 million that is owed to ZESCO and others. So the decisions are very bad. No matter the choice of good words, where they say we've reopened the mines are, there's investment. When you look at the details, it's something rotting. Queen Pumi, your dear brother here said Zambians are lazy. This is the Attorney General, Murilo Kabesha. He says they will just rather eat while seated. They don't want to work. They're just lazy. When you saw this headline, what was your thinking? What did you feel? What came to your mind?
Actually, I didn't even know to get upset or to just laugh. I was just like, I don't even know. But I think that this government have taken Zambians for a ride. You know, the amount of disrespect by the government officials to continuously insult 21 million Zambians when they came to promise to make Zambia into a land of milk and honey, but instead of them taking responsibility to blame Zambians, we have seen Bakabesha is not the first person to say it. Even the vice president herself, she said you would die poor, you know. So I think really we see a government of using reverse psychology on Zambians. I think this is a reverse psychology tactic where when you fail to deliver your promises, now you want to blame the Zambians for being lazy, for not working hard. How can you work hard when one, you have no power? For some reason, other countries deserve our power than ourselves. So you have taken away the power for the SMEs, and then this is the number one direct form of employment, self-employment. Because government, you have failed in the 4 years to create industries or even to create projects. Let's say the government decided on a project to say, let us improve all our roads, resurface all our roads in Zambia. That is employment. We would have employment from Kasumbalesa to Kazungula, from Nakonde to Mongu, Kalabo. All the youth in those areas will be employed in this road project that the government will initiate. Let's say they initiate or feed Zambia. If they have farms all over Zambia and employ Zambians, we will not have ZNS officers shooting youths over 5 bags of meal to try and earn a living. There is news going around that 3 youths were shot over 5 bags of meal. Like, honestly, Bakabesha, how do you want Zambians to survive? You yourselves, you are the masters of selling. Mulashishama Laiti, ambassador here is just talking of how our minerals are being mined and given literally for free, looting, fisendeni. And you dare call Zambians lazy? You will remember your words. You will remember your words, Vakabesha, because Vakabesha, already you are at the center of controversy in this ECL family. Barrio case. I want to comment a little bit on this mining problem that we have in Zambia, which you have just highlighted, Your Excellency. And the president, I'm talking about this in relation to the speech. He said Zambia is moving towards producing 3 million metric tons annually. Is moving, you know, like, okay, we are done with using these smart words to make us think something is happening when nothing is happening. We don't care, you know. I don't care if they produce 10 million metric tons of copper or 0, because we are not benefiting anything. Coming to our last live last week, that's why even Professor Kasonso was saying, to fisa my mind. We don't care whether you produce 0 metric or 1 million metric tons, because Zambians, we are receiving 0. Now, these same companies, you must be all aware that some of these mining companies, they are being sued in their countries where they have registered these companies for tax evasion. I'm not sure if Glencore is one of them, but a number of these mining companies, they were sued here in the United States for trillions of dollars over evading taxes in the countries where they're getting these minerals from. Isn't that ironic? If I told but kuno America where they are bringing those minerals, they are being taxed for, they are being penalized from evading taxes in these countries. I think Congo was one of them. This is the scam of the biggest century. And you should be ashamed of yourself by UPND. And the ministers Tumbeko Msokotwani, you know, sometimes I even want to change this Tumbeko name. It has brought so much embarrassment to me, personally as an individual. I'm like, how can I have somebody share a name with somebody doing these evil atrocities to Zambia? Giving a mine with his zero? Just to put it in a perspective, do the math and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a good mathematician. But right now, Zambia is producing I think just over 800,000 metric tons. Is it 800? I think it's 800,000 metric tons. Yes. We are producing below 1 million metric tons of copper. So now if you multiply that by the current price, the current prices of copper are the highest on the market. And the prices of copper will continue to rise. So basically where we are, we could name our price. And what beats me is why our government is not naming our price. We are surrounded by neighbors who are actually increasing their royalty or dividend from a mega 3% to 50%. What a shame. And then Kasonde Mwenda published an article where he said, after scraping these mineral taxes and whatever, they are getting, for every $100 the mining companies make, there's a $2 going into some account. And this is why we are saying this government has to go. We need a government that is going to collect money and put it in the coffers of Bank of Zambia so we can improve take Zambians out of poverty. Now multiply 800,000 metric tons of copper by, I think, under 10,000 per ton. So we are talking about 8 billion per annum, which is supposed to come in. 8 billion US dollars is supposed to come, okay? So that is gross. Now, if we were even getting 50%, that is 4 billion. If we were even getting 50%, that is 4 billion. We would get just from copper only. Okay, to take off your okay, to pay off 25%. We slash the 4 billion into half, that is 2 billion. We could just be getting from copper 25%. But Bamsoko Twani cannot even negotiate for a 10%. Even like a 1 billion, 1 billion. From copper, now we're only talking copper, there are other minerals. You know, there are other minerals we are talking about. In copper itself, there are other byproducts, minerals which are found when they filter that copper, whatever, there are other minerals there. And we are crying here because our people can't afford a food basket of less than, is it $500 per month?
Yeah, Queen Pumi, before, yeah, thank you very much. Before we invite our dear viewers, the other matters we are discussing. First of all, there is this gentleman, Simon Banda, is a member of parliament for Nchelenge. He is a Patriotic Front member of parliament. The law says if you cross the floors, you can see he's in a UPND t-shirt. If you cross the floors, your seat becomes vacant. And sadly, you cannot stand in an election. You have people that were voted for under PF is now even daring. Others just hide, but him is even now donned in a Patriotic Front t-shirt. We have another matter of Mulilo Kabesha. He calls Zambians that Zambians are lazy and that they just rather eat while seated and they don't work hard. And Queen Pumi has gone to a large extent to demonstrate how Zambians queue up for jobs that are not there, how they try to engage in entrepreneurship, and they are killed by ZNS and other people. And today, you can have a senior government official, without even apologizing, call Zambians in their general context as lazy. In other countries, this man will stand fired, I can tell you. Then we have this man, Mulusa is a chief government spokesperson for the UPND and for government. He says Bill 7, that proposed constitutional amendments, is coming to this session of Parliament. Now, remember, the Constitutional Court has ruled that this bill was brought in unconstitutional, and the president broke various articles of the Constitution in his approach to bring this matter to Parliament. Madam, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Nelly Muti, also has been issuing various statements that she's waiting for this bill, you know. And then, of course, we have the president who's discussing this hopeful hopeful speech. It's his last major presidential address to Parliament before we go to elections next year. You can call us on the number given. We are opening the phone lines. I am privileged that I'm being helped by Queen Pumi, who is with me here, and Queen Pumi has joined us, and she should be able to help me with this. I've got another request. We'll let you know if another person comes in. But so far, Queen Pumi and myself are reviewing the presidential address. So when we come back, we'll take your phone lines.
Besides that, Madam Speaker, we should not rush to court when we have a challenge, even at a family level, business level, government level. Court is the last resort. When dialogue is challenged, court is the last resort. Madam Speaker, I have to emphasize that so we don't get mixed feelings in this House. KCM has paid off a large number.
Yeah, so we are taking your calls now. Madam Queen Pumi is with me here. The Queen herself, she's here. She's helping me. We seem to have the first caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Munkonge from West London.
Oh, yes, Munkonge. Please make your contribution.
Ambassador, ndefo okulanda pofe pali mining kulingana national mwene. So inechali mpesha sana mano. Idio ba PF government wapokera ma mines. By then ali copper belt kuchirira bombwe. So roba ishirepoka rama mines babika ko bali liquidate ba government. Bali sabula ba ama miners kubeta no kubeba ko bati bara bapera ama benefits. Bali bapera ama benefits. Ama benefits yali mu phase. Bambi bapokele 2 times. Ero bambi bakwete shingi bapokele 3 times. Ero baba sign shana ma new contract. She ama benefits bapera ama miners. Ni mpia bambili okupanga pali ile nshita bapokele kuli via vendetta. Then nama contractors na wena waisa babika police te pali na bakabusa by then wali ba contractor. Wonse babapera ko. Miners zero baba perishire mpia abantu bali kula mayanda towards number my election. The last payment yalikuwa December and April. Then August yali my elections. Elio ku nchanga kwali basinote ikurusa kwali ba concentrate ikuru. So bali mbire paying yali pa surface yali panish bali bikere pali zevu. So government pali ile instaali sapanga mpia sana ora yali kwetela direction kuma miners no kubebo ko bati batekanye because apolo bapoke chichipepa jama benefits baba pera abantu bali kula sana mayanda kutumwa ipsha bambi bali shitafya mayanda bakonkanya pono kubumba then basapoka na mpani Number after time wale pera bashimani nama benefits. Wa UPNG wali against. Wale nishi wa mipele nama benefits. Number after UPNG aisa mu government. Na nishalila sana. Usheshile mpira liquidate pangire. Na ile production ya cooperative mapano no. Ile alipasafe singi sana. Inga panga sana mpia shingi. Because previous government vena bali pekenyo ko bati bala puisho enkongole shama contractors bali ashire ko enkongole oyu vandeta nomba bamubwesha nomba ngashire mpia ba government bapere bali ababumfi ababa lebo mbapali inonshita na shire mpia bapere aba contractors obwafirira okupera oro then ila kopa ingi ali pa surface production oro mpia sho bapangire kopali yenshita nomba fyonse fya ya kuisa because government ya isa afuma profit arestekero ko bati ara afuma poinare panga ama program for future programs tabale panga tyo ifoto ala yao nomba after ba isa ba government babwese shauri omuntu indarama nomba babwese shauri omuntu ama mines nomba ngali ama expenses ya bombere government yishira bamwafa ko fyo ino waisa mufili muri fyonse fye na kuikara pofe nangu chaba shani na ngwi mpia shire previous government kopa ile alipa surface nyingi sana oro mpia bashitishe kopa ishali mkofa ni reporting shibapera finshi fya chitika na lishalira sana.
Okay ba Munkonge. Okay.
Oro then abantu nabena beruke because during PF government they pusha ko bushe haviki yaba kuisa because haviki contractors barabare kura kuna manda bare panga ma drainage system abengi imisepera paronde myaba mwamba bali ishiba preclaim ukupitira kuri ba haviki civil engineering because ama projects tayari ikala na mwapa chambe shapali headquarter wabarumendo bare pitara before kwamba fe mansa everywhere Zambia ngatabare pango mseboni shware panga drainage system mumbali ya matamaki nomba wonse baraba haviki yabali busy fyonse yarama activities yari chitika abantu bafuye batontonkanya nefire chitika pali ino nshita biraba bepafi batontonkanya sana PF ofe bale ikala na abantu bakwata ama CV time yaba PF ukupitira kuma contractors banje beko banjite challenge bali 4 years musipera nisho kwete po CV na nguku ishibo kwensha skaveta because misepelesha kwa tama CV shire bombalimbi outside Zambia isha bombere na ba AVIC ukupitira muri ba PF nomba pali ino nshita so misepelera shitontonga nyepo na abantu bera support afi blind finto fyali ona ikaba mwambara totera mkwani.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Munkonge is emphasizing that the liquidator for KCM paid outstanding terminal benefits. And he's also talking about the work that was going on, the PF were making, building infrastructure. He says a lot of people, earned skills such as bricklaying. Thank you, Mr. Munkonge. I've put on the screen there, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order that establishes a designation for state sponsors of wrongful detention. And the U.S. would punish countries that illegally detain U.S. nationals or take them hostage. If you see what has happened is that there's a young lady, Ethel Chisoni Edwards, who's been detained. We understand she's an American citizen and she's been detained in Zambia for offending cyber laws. She said to have issued these videos while she was in America, but they've detained her in Lusaka. The funny part is Ethel, I think, went to the Zambian embassy a month or so ago to apologize for earlier remarks, and we understand that she was allowed to travel. She was actually even, there are a lot of issues, but the serious issue is that the U.S. embassy in Zambia has published that executive order. The punishment will include, if you detain an American citizen, will include travel restrictions, sanctions. There are a lot of things that you can do. So kutumule mona fiat yo na bashita detain ka etheo yo kala tukawa kateka. The sanctions are severe if she's an American citizen. And you know, freedom of expression is a fundamental issue in our country. The lines are open. You can call. You have this man, the Attorney General, Mulilo Kabesha, who says Zambians, you Zambians, mulibanangani, ati mulibanangani fear, you know, tamfo yoku wa mambo avena mwikala mulelia. I don't know where he's coming from, you know. We have this matter of our MP for Patriotic Front for Nchelenge, who has defected, as you can see, is wearing a PF t-shirt. His seat must be declared vacant. And we have the issue of the national budget, national address by the president. You can pick any of those subjects. Queen Pumi, let me invite you as we take more callers, but let me invite you if you have any remark by the previous caller. Or any of the subjects, whether it's an issue of Ethel Edward or it's an issue of this MP, you can pick whichever.
Okay, I want to talk mainly on two subjects on this Bamulusa crossing the floor and this Bill 7. I think the Bill 7 is a big issue because the Concord ruled against it and gave guidance to the UPND government on how to reintroduce this bill. So they were given clear guidance by the Concord that it must be people driven. The people must initiate this Bill 7. And Bamulusa, I think we are seeing a trend in Zambia where, and this trend has continued to grow. It's not only starting now, but now it's just so obvious, like members of parliament seem to forget who put them there. You know, members of parliament, you know, they are just throwing away. They have forgotten why they are there, drunk with power, and they are standing with a government who wants to impose their ruling themselves on the Zambian people, Paga 2090, with this Bill 7. Now, Bill 7, fellow Zambian, it is very dangerous, and we must do whatever we can to make sure that this Bill 7 remains dead. It is nothing but
Queen Pumi, sorry, just let's just take some calls.
Okay.
This is Dr. Simon Mwale Nchelenge MP, who's is a Patriotic Front MP, but see what he's doing. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Oh, just a minute, my dear brother. Let me I think there's just a minute. I was wearing headpieces on this phone. So just a minute. Let me just switch them off so that you are audible. Okay, caller, please make your contribution.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Rob. I'm calling from Manchester. I just wanted to comment on the issue of Bakamisha in terms of using the lazy citizen narrative. You only hear those type of sentiments from a failing government when they fail to provide and provide an environment for people to do the things that will move them forward. So what they're just trying to do is deflecting accountability instead of addressing policy issues like poor education systems, lack of job creation. Governments tend to blame citizens for not working hard enough. So this is what he's just trying to do, is just deflecting accountability. And also justifying their policies. They say that their policies are not there to help the ordinary Zambians. You know, so public services issues that we have, or even constitutional changes,
that reduce citizen powers, like like what happened with cyber law and stuff. So a lot of things that this government have been doing, they've not been helping the people of our country. So I think for them, it's just a lazy way, and it's normally a government that is not there for the people. And they're just trying to justify, and we've been hearing all these things, even on certain platforms, when you go there, and you just say, no, you just go and look for a job, or you're just being lazy. So that's for me, it's a government that has failed. And the danger with those type of sentiments is the erosion of trust, because citizens lose faith in leadership that insults rather than uplifts them. It deepens the divide between government and the people that are being governed. And this is why we go with a message for us, in the sense that we're just going for total independence, where we start from the bottom and involve everyone. There's no Zambian that is lazy, and it's a shame for a minister to speak like that, because the level of mental health issues in Zambia are so massive because of the way the economy is at the moment, and also with what has happened with these load shedding issues. So it's a shame if you have those kind of leaders that do not have empathy. And if you remember, even the president, when he was in address, he actually said that everyone in the country has felt the pain of load shedding. Everyone, including him. How has load shedding affected him as a person? I don't think he's ever experienced load shedding in his house. So there are people that have not been affected by load shedding, but there are people that have been killed. There are people that have died from load shedding. So we have a government at the moment that have no love, no empathy, and they just don't care. So even with the issue you mentioned to do with the 2.5 billion that has left our country, but then we're trying to find 1.5 billion. That is leadership, and it's a choice of the government. And it just shows that our country has more resources. We shouldn't be in debt. We should be in a better position if we just have people that are there to serve the country. Because there's no maximum, maybe that 2.5 billion, but we have to conquer 1.5 billion. So there's my Zambia. Zambia has more money. However, they over to conquer they should be the ones some conquer, because God has blessed us with the things that they don't have. All we just need now is a second independence, have real politics that put our people at the forefront, and we are ready to dig. I'm at PK and everything, shovels to build that country and take these guys out of power. They have no respect, no love, and they're just treating Zambians like kids. And it's about time we pack them and put them in their history, so that we have no more politicians to save us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robam. Indeed, Independence 2.0. Robam says this is a fight for independence. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba, and good evening, Madam Pinpomi. Zephania is my name. I'm calling from Lusaka, Zambia. Indeed, I concur with the previous caller. We are in Independence 2.0, where we must fight this regime which has brought shame into Zambian sovereignty. I want just to speak about what Kabesha said, that yes, Zambians, we are lazy. Yes, he's going to call us we are lazy because we gave them job, because Zambians, they woke up early in the morning to give them job when they had nothing. Today they have made money. They can even call us Zambians are lazy. 2026 is coming, and we are going to show them that we'll be lazy voting in that ballot box. Then the other issue I want just to talk about is the issue of the speech of the president. I also analyze it. It's about 250 something points, which is about 53 pages. It was a long speech. That's why some members of parliament were sleeping, because it was not motivating. It was a long speech. My analysis on that speech of the president, is that that speech was drafted to impress the IMF and the international ears, not on the Zambian people, because Zambians every day, They complain about load shedding. They complain about the cost of living. They complain about the high price of mini meal. They complain about the high cost of fuel. They complain how the cost of doing business. And today, the barber shop, my sisters in saloons, they are suffering. They have closed. In Kamwala, nothing is happening. Then the president goes to parliament and tells the Zambian people that our economy has grown by 5.2. That is a shame, because it's only growing in graphics, it's only growing on the paper, it's only growing in the mind of the UPND. And it's a shame that some of the same UPND press singers, they haven't even read what their president had said, but they are busy defending something which they haven't understood. So Zambians, we must wake up. Zambian, it's our time to fight this 2.0 independence. When you look at our country today, it has become a laughingstock. And every day, Bamwamba, in conclusion, I want just to salute Ambassador Michael Gonzalez, because he always stands for us Zambian people. When many of the ambassadors have kept quiet, he's very on point, and look at how he's being discredited. The same on the same speech, I remember when he was talking about the issue of maize, which was imported from Tanzania. You could see the president how he was talking about. He was definitely talking about Mike Gonzalez. The other day it was Surush Desai, who was also talking negative. The other day it was Max Mowe. So where are we going? Where are we going as Zambians? This is the time that Zambians, we should open up, that the people we trusted with power are the people who have brought shame unto us. So 2026, let's stand up and remove UPND and bring the party which has already proven. And we need someone who's got experience. We are tired of people without experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zephaniah. Thank you very much. We are still, let me take some more calls before we allow Queen Pumi and myself to comment. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
Thank you. I will keep me anonymous.
That's okay.
Sure. I just want to comment on what Mr. Kabesha mentioned in regards to that Zambians are lazy. They would rather sit and do nothing. I think what he said, Mr. Kabesha, is I think is not being fair to the Zambian people and the entire UPND government. If you look at from the time they came into power and took over office, we have failed to maintain the economy. We have road shedding, which has killed a lot of business, not only in Lusaka, but everywhere else. The price of fuel is high. People are trying within their means to make a living. To tell the people that are lazy, it's not good for the Zambian. People are in Mfumbwe trying to make a life. What did they do? They went to kill people in Mfumbwe. Instead of providing solution in Mfumbwe, what did the government do? They went ahead and started killing people in Mfumbwe. So what solution does he want, Mr. Kabesha? This is the main reason why I even failed to bring the board of the late President Lungu. Because he goes to South Africa, did a lot of injunctions, and nothing has happened. So for him to come out like that, it's a betrayal to the people that we had to wake up in the morning to want to vote for UPND. The president was on the national address the other day. I don't know who writes those speeches for him, because whatever you're saying is not in reality. You know, he's busy saying no. The economy is okay. But it's good that he confessed that road shedding is there. But whatever he was saying, it has not, we haven't come to realize, it hasn't come to real positive economic growth. Whatever he says, it's not there. It's like on the ground, things are bad. But when he goes in parliament, he talks something else. So it's like he mismatches with the reality and what is on the ground.
Thank you, my brother.
Sure, thank you, Honorable Mwamba.
Thank you, thank you. Let's take another call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Mrs. Anonymous from the AI Kingdom.
Yes, Miss Anonymous,
yeah.
Make your contributions.
Yeah, I'm going to make a contribution on, I think, on almost everything that you have highlighted on your live stream. And I'll try as much as possible to be brief. First, I'll start with the issue of the speech. I think the speech, I already gave my comments on that the other day, where I said it was literally rhetoric. And having further gone through the speech, read the speech, I realized that actually, when you look at that speech, it's in tandem with what I'm going to inform the Zambians that is some kind of a campaign message that the president went and did in parliament, and it's in tandem with what we've come across as some of us who do a lot of research with a document which I'm going to highlight being entitled as the UPND Strategy 2026 election, something like that. So what the UPND have done is they've come up with a strategy for winning the 2026. I think it's some kind of a confidential document, but it has leaked. Because we do a lot of reading, some of us, so we came across that document. And when we read what the speech was and what the president was presenting in parliament, they're the same. And among the things that he talked about, I think it's the issue of he was talking about the economy growing at that much and this much. Like you rightly put it, that is a projected number which people sit in boardrooms, come up with assumptions from wherever the assumptions, and if the assumptions you don't agree, whatever assumptions you put in, and you come up with that projected number, and then you want to run with that projected number as the growth for the country. When in reality, when you look at what are the driving factors of that 6.2 that talking about, you realize is that talking about rebound in mining, rebound in agriculture, rebound in service. When you look at the rebound in mining, what are we talking about? There's no revenue there. What is being done, what is collected is thrown outside the country. So nothing in control 99. So I don't know how that is having an impact on the economy growing at that much. Let's go back to the issue of agriculture. We had a drought. They're saying, the economy was gonna grow at this because of the rebound in agriculture and everything. That's also rhetoric. So those are some of the issues that I want to highlight on that. And then on the same document that I'm saying, a leaked document of the UPND strategy of Win 2026, you highlighted the point where you indicated of Mr. Mulusa, a government chief whip, who is saying Bill 7 has to rebound in Parliament. Yes, in that document, when you read the risks, the opportunities, and the strategy that they have, the only thing they've been advised is for them to win, they need to do Bill 7. That's why, Honorable Mwamba, we've been singing to the Zambian people to say Bill 7 is not supposed to go through, because that's what UPND has been informed in that document that I'm talking about, to say let Bill 7 go through for them to win. Why? Because they're talking about the issues of delimitation. And that delimitation, they want to do it in Southern Province. That's where the numbers are the 55. That will be done. They're talking about mixed proportion and everything. They're talking about the number that the president is going to have to himself of 46. Those are the numbers that the president is going to choose for himself. For instance, the 20 women, the 12 youths, and the 3 people living with disability. So those are some of the things. That's why they want to make sure that Bill 7 goes through. The document has been leaked by UPND. The document is leaked. It's there. We've seen it. And Zambians should take advantage and read and understand to say that Bill 7 is not for UPND for Zambian inclusiveness and everything. It's about UPND going and winning the elections. That's why people of Zambia, wake up. this man that you've put on the screen, is it Mr. I think you had indicated to say Simon Banda. It should be Simon Mwelwa, something like that. Is it Dr. Simon Mwelwa from Wapula? Is it challenge? These are some of the people we are saying are not loyal. If you can't be loyal to your own party that saw you through to parliament, today you want to come and turn around and say you want to go and support the UPND. Why? Because you failed to deliver. That's why you want to go to this party. It's unfortunate the UPND want to align themselves with people who actually maybe made the PF lose elections as part of the people they want to welcome in their party. All the people that were coming in their party, it's unfortunate. You want numbers, but look at the numbers. Are they something that you're going to impact? No, you will not have any impact from those people that are going there. They are failures. That's why they are coming to you. And because for you who are moving to UPND, you are failures, then you want to be used on Bill 7, which I've told you several times that they're going to use you and dump you because you go and vote on your Bill 7 and it goes through. Immediately it goes through, they will dump you. That's when your eyes and your ears will open because right now you are a zombie. So those are some of the issues that we need to highlight to these.
Thank you, my dear sister. You are right. Is Dr. Simon Mwale Nchelenge MP?
Yes.
Dr. Simon Mwale.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for your insights and thank you. Let's take another call. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Yes. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Elia, and I'm calling from America.
Yes, Elia. Make your contribution, my sister.
How are you, Mr. Mwamba? And how are you, Queen Pumi?
We are well, thank you.
I just want to talk on Vakavesha when you said that Zambian, they are lazy, so they have not created any jobs, and our teenagers are suffering. People of Zambia, they are suffering. There's no jobs in Zambia. So how can Mr. Kavesha say that people of Zambia, they are lazy? We have the youths, the teenagers, they have finished their school, but there is no jobs to do. So how can they do work? How can they do work? So Vakavesha mwaferuka. Beyonce mbimutoko amba Vakavesha. Now I'll use even my language. Mbimutoko amba kwamba Mazambia ni batoro. Inchi tonshu mwachita create shiri inchi tonshu mwachita create o government yenu o wakainde. Amana mukwamba kwamba bantu batoro tabazandi kusebenza inga basebenza buti kuine nchito. So Vakavesha wakainde mbimutokuchita teshi bintu bibotu maminerals mutokuja instead maminerals alia kuma mining mutokupanga mupange mali chite create nchitosha kwamba Mazambia ni wakusebenza umwe mutokuya kuja kuma foreigners ma gold ma minerals onse amana mutokwamba kukubonya okaiba Mazambians bajimi baina mano ubataza ndi kusebenza bantu inga basebenza buti kuine nchito Vakavesha omwe muri barenje na muri bahirachi na muri batonga shiji bati ndiji ndakamuterera mutokwamba chitundu chira bantu inga basebenza buti kuine nchito mwaferuka baechecha muvweo umwe mwakeza muzambia momo mwachita rejectireza mwamuchita rejectireza amana mwanka kwambira bantu batakupemperareza ewaroreza wamuchita reject wa HH kuyina mbi mwachita mu government mwenu mwakeza boka isatana kuiba kuzona uro kuyaya mbi mutokuchita mo muzambia tatumizandi Mazambians bonse tatumizandi so muvweo wa abu president mburi twamukusha upa abu president muvweo. So thank you very much, Mwamba.
Thank you, my dear sister. Wonderful. She's spoken her heart. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much. This is Joe calling you from Lusaka, Zambia.
Yes, Joe.
Yes, Ambassador, thank you very much to have this opportunity to speak out of this program. So, Ambassador, the thing is this. This is the strategy that the UPND government is using. The strategy is simple. It is more like, let me give you an example. It is more like you are keeping me in your house as a child. You know, Ambassador, that in your house I'm doing better than your only biological children. You know that it is the fact that you are keeping me, but I'm doing better as a child in your house. Now, you want to pollinate that, to destroy my name from outside neighbors that I am a bad child in your house. The government of UPND has now recognized that they have failed to achieve the quota of what the Patriotic Front achieved when the Patriotic Front it was in power. They want to destroy the name of Patriotic Front, and not only that, they have reached the extent of what this fake lawyer is saying now, to say Zambians people, they are less people, they don't want to be working, they like free things. Mr. Mwamba, go to the market 0 to 4 hours, you find women there ordering chickens, putting tomatoes from buses, that is 0.4. And then someone is surviving just to earn 100 kwacha to buy, carpenter and to millimill, a medal of millimill. Then someone should come and say Zambians are less people. Are you telling me that we are being fair to those people who are suffering? So this is what it is going on right away. The UPND government are come next year. Whether they like it or not, they are going. Because people they have recognized to say they are just people who came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. In short, they are the evils, because even the Bible says that the devil came to kill, to steal, and to destroy. What else can we say? They are stealing for poor, and the poor are suffering. Hence, they are dying. I'm talking about power right away where we are. We don't have power. We have got students. Me, myself, I'm a student. I have no access with the internet in terms of researches if I don't have a power bank. And then someone should say that Zambians are less people. Are we being fair and we are being, truthful enough as the government by telling our own citizens? No, this is not fair. So, Mr. Mwamba, in conclusion, please continue speaking for people who are voiceless. These guys come next year, they are going, they have no option rather than going. Thank you very much, Ambassador, to have me.
Thank you very much. Queen Pumi, let me just take a few, maybe 2 or more as last callers. Then we ask you to answer and then provide closing remarks. And then I will inform our viewers of what we are doing tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, tomorrow and I think Wednesday, we have our good big guests that are coming to grace the event. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, good evening. I'm calling you from the land of AI.
Thank you. Thank you. Make your contributions.
Yeah. Awuchindande pe mchimemba okwena. Iyi government ya UPND bamwamba ine ali mpesha mana. Kwa government ya kwa dama latest every day. Aya yeka. So, number 1. Nalalanda pali bakabesha bene bakabesha fish bachitakanshi mu Zambia. What has he done to contribute to the improvement of the livelihood of Zambians? For him to say that they are less, what has he done? Because he's a leader in Zambia. These are people that are making national decisions. What do? We talk about lead shedding. We have talked about all the minerals that have been looted, everything. They have failed to address not one thing. All the time they come up. They are defensive, or they will say, they will manipulate numbers and try it. I don't know whether they feel like Zambians are so down and they don't know what is going on. They can just buy whatever comes out of their mouths. It's just a shame that somebody else orders Bakabesha does not understand the problems of the people. Probably but he's there going to and fro South Africa, making deals, trying to corrupt judges, instead of focusing on national things that matter, like load shedding. Ukuchula kudachula wa Mzambia, wa market mulia, tabako watana freedom, bali baby lama rights abantu, bula na chisai balo baba vika pakanwa. Muli no 21st century. Bale yumva tulia bomba. Bamba no panga ma speech aina ma page 54. Mwe bantu mwe bomfufu balanda ba UPND mwalikosa, because me, I cannot even stand listen to these people. These people are not honest people. I've told you many times. Bill 7. Bill 7, we don't want it anywhere near. We don't want anybody that is abrogating our constitution to bring that thing. That thing is an abomination. Barichkonde mama judges it. Tachakwata procedure to asumisha Zambia. Any law in Zambia must have the consent and the agreement of the people. You don't just cook up something and bring it to the people and you are busy making an address and saying, that's what they are telling you. Go and campaign in your constituencies where you are losing popularities. Kulia? Oko tuma independent tule michitobu. Not mulelanda pali Bill 7 yao. Tatule ifwaya. Mwilale tamaloza ali poisonous kubantu ba Mzambia. Muleleza mkubalisha. Stop. Muleke. Chirachi Bill 7 chiwele roko kwenye baya mieba cheko chikabomba. There will be nothing like if you from lefo kufusha fiaba ministerio muletina impeachment muleshina shadi. No. Bill 7 is illegal. Na procedure mwa bomfia yabu fita kwa abamu constitution yesu. Respect our constitution. Tatu akamiso minishe. Uko chitari constitution yesu. So mule safi nga mwala alaba Mzambia tabaka suminisha. It will never happen. Nga my election muka rusefe muka bwekele kumushi. You are surviving before this government. So why are you afraid? So mule ke muka bwekele fya kumushtuaka na ifu mwila tuchimwisha. Abona vena ba member of parliament. Bale kefye balande fiat bale fuwa yokuyadani fefo bale chita. This is being manipulated. Balande fiat inena afuma mona ku UPND bakuke bae. Ninsala. Most of these men that we have in Zambia, they are not principled. They don't want to save the people. They want to save their stomach. People get note or take note of such people and don't vote them for. What are they doing? They don't represent you. They are cadres. These people are cadres. They don't understand what it means to be a member of parliament. They don't know their job, their role. They don't know who their boss is. What they know is they are so low, like they don't understand. They can disgrace themselves. If you have go in your camp and tell yourself this thing won't work. Zambians do not accept this kind of rubbish from this government. Constitution. You want to disrespect our court? Documents.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me take, I've got two callers waiting. Let me take first with this one. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Transport calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, caller, make your contribution.
Sorry, nachafa kuipusha kwenda shishi program. Yes, if it's like if it's I don't know if it's a political, like ngaya one political party, because I'm a contribution zone kwete. I wanted to talk about I had one caller kuliba abafiashwe z'abachilanda pa kubatiyo ubuteko bulipo tabalechita creating toshama yutsi. Ine kutina abali newe example, Mr. Mwamba ine ndi Mubemba wa Kumanza, and after completing my grade 12, I went and did sales and marketing. So after school nalaika after palo for register. So after abali poba nensu aba UPND, nalisa kwate shuko ili kukwata ko ishuko ya ku driving school yali under CDF. And right now, as I'm talking to you, Mr. Mwamba, Nalisa engaged just after na puisha fie driving school yandi nalisa kwate shuko lya kuingira nchito as a driver ku company mosoyote tindumbule. And after I worked for some months, again I got a promotion according I got a promotion after na chita apply kulingana na papers ona kwete. So number isindosho ndio for kulanda. I think kuline UPND is the only government yonsa ya isapo ipele ko privilege kuma youths balaba kwe bati abasha kwete shuko lya kwa maybe limikutuba kwata ko even not skills, because I remember the time we were doing driving schools the time to alipoka my license, we were about I think 1,000 per school kulwaisho kona lesson kona sendele, we were about 1,000 ama youths of minimum places umapsana. So number kuwa fiasha bale landa tiyo ba government ba UPND tapale ofobale chita ba UPND bale angala fie o tabale security nchito even during time ya PF kwali ba youth abale ikala fia ba shali chite fionse. It's not that government if we yachita creating situation kuingisha ba youth bonse the whole country bambo kula bomba government yachita creating nchito iyo in mentality ya yo to onaikila mo for Zambians, because the orchard for to as youths for Zambians never to create inchito for ebene waipangire nchito we mwine not to kulalole that your government it's the creating inchito government teach the so no. Inena mipela example the time shale bomba na let's go business while maslipazi ureshi akoshani. It's not all about your government ilete nchito itupele nchito tampio kubomba and hapa liko chita criticize our fair face wa Mwamba tufetu chita criticize na hapa likulanda choke hapa nensu na babomba tien tulanda tina babomba. It's not that by UPND bali rufianya fionse fiopo baishila that's a lie.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, my caller. I've got so many waiting. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Anonymous. I'm calling you from the land of AI.
Yes, Anonymous.
Yes, I just have a couple of comments, and the previous caller has just added another one. Yes. And I'll start with his comment when he talks about youth empowerment as one of the things that the UPND has done. I think when you are measuring the impact of a government, you must measure the things that they have done better than those who were there before. And youth empowerment is not new. Youth empowerment was taking place during the Patriotic Front era. So it's not like when skills training has come now. It's not like free education has come now. These things haven't come now. So we need to be talking about the promises that were made based on the things that were missing before. And then we measure and say, okay, so the promises you made compared to your friends, you have done better. And when you are talking about youth empowerment, that's not true. But when you talk about load shedding, for example, I remember very well that during Patriotic Front era, load shedding was sometimes 4 hours a day. And sometimes twice a week. So you'd have twice a week or once a week, but only for 4 hours. Today we have load shedding every day, but we have power for only 4 hours. So that's a failure. You know, I find it very difficult, Ambassador, to listen to certain people who, even when they are living in the problems and in the failure, because of some kind of alignment that they have, whether it is partisan alignment or whatever alignment, they feel that they should defend the wrong, which is very embarrassing. As Zambians, can we get out of that kind of thinking? When something is going wrong, let's stand up and stop it. And what is happening now is we are seeing even young people losing their minds and becoming empty-headed praise singers who would, even in the middle of suffering, pretend that everything is okay. No, everything, things are not okay. When there's 20 hours of load shedding every day, you cannot, on what moral sense are you standing to be able to say that even now things, there are certain things that, no. Even the numbers now, I go to another point, the numbers that we are hearing in the president's speech, that the economy is growing at whether it's 5.2 or 6.2 per year. How does an economy grow without production? How does an economy grow without production? We've seen businesses, butcheries and barbershops and salons and shops closing. Lots of businesses closing down because there's no money. There's no electricity for production. There's no circulation of funds in the economy. And businesses are closing. And someone, because they have some sort of alignment, or maybe they are just paid to talk, they would come up and begin to utter these praises. It is very embarrassing. I think us as Zambians must get out of that, snap out of that, and come back to our senses and be able to look at things the way that they are. Now, I just want to close with this one. There's a document that has leaked. There's a document that has leaked. It's a document by the UPND, and I will tell you the title of the document right now. It's called UPND Political Strategy, Geopolitical Mapping and Electoral Prospects for 2026. This document that we have stumbled upon is a document that the UPND is using to try, and they have included Bill 7 as one of the strategies to perpetuate their stay in power. They're using it, they have done a research and they have done a conclusion, and they have put up strategies and recommendations of the things they need to be able to do to manipulate the public through messaging and so on and so forth, so that they can cheat the public to make them think that Bill 7 is good for the nation. Listen, Zambians, wherever you are, you need to stand up against Bill 7. It must be considered as BID, brought in dead. If the Constitutional Court could rule as they did, why should we go back to that conversation again? That is a matter that was concluded. The fact that Hakainde Hichilema and the Speaker of the National Assembly is even considering to bring it back, they have lost the mandate of the people of Zambia. I think if it was in the UK, I think, or somewhere in Europe, Hakainde would have resigned on moral grounds for bringing a bill that had to be rejected and taken to the courts and rejected there. And then he has the audacity to push it back to Parliament. It's embarrassing. And let it be known that this document, we have seen it, we've seen the plans that the UPND have, and it is very dangerous, trying to force Bill 7 down our throats and trying to plan around messaging so that the people begin to support it. It is wrong. I'm calling on all Zambians to stand against it. Thank you so much, Ambassador. This is a great program and an opportunity for us to voice our sentiments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is on the screen there. You can see that Stafford Mulusa is Solwezi Central Member of Parliament. He has said they are bringing, he's a chief government spokesperson, and they are bringing back Bill 7. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Mwamba
Verified.
from Livingston.
Yes, I'm from Livingston.
Question, but ya kunuma sana pe. Temi avena mazoka na temi avasata. You did the story normally in where one of the founding members of the UPND was saying that the time Mazoka was the time when government here Motoga, and then Basa wina Butrija Kubaule once. And then that time Basatavari Secretary General MMD. I stand Rama election. Yava Mazokewa win Baulen as the treasurer. That was like what level. And then Nero Kumena guys off minimum B advisor die over Makongo America, so Banga political party. So for I push up because I'm sure those years you were already acquainted with the issue to do with governance. The first question is, it's a clarify as a word treasurer. Why was that clarified by Mr. Sat? nisho mazaba poke motoka kuteko because according to the story you on your wall, his lawyer was the late Hamudutu, Mr. Hamudutu. So now the focus really what really transpired on this motoka na city abo treasurer, because I've brought in that issue because the storyteller apelele pe pakwati aire mkulisha na zwari mpoka motoka bali sana na rifai city hapa, but in the focus share ngire bampoke motoka wetena na rifai city hapa. It's on the push for Mwamba. It's in relation to how we openly restricting our PF. Our PF, though first come parliament, the Bremer Bachpiri, from 2010 to 2021. If first come parliament, they won the Bremer Bachpiri because Bachpiri was a total Tungush Wakushta. Utungush Wakushta, everyone's why meaning a candidate in 2021. I just told Tungush Bachpiri. Bachpiri, if you look at even the mass structures of starting our provinces, no, they are aware of Bachpiri. And we've got Chavinga Parliament. What's the law form? What's the and the other MPs of Marang Narumbarina. Our MPs Marang Narumbarina. Yeah, but the Parliament in PF. But because the vast minimum PF, but the first English, I'm a business as well. But it's so by Parliament. Let's look at what is happening in Parliament. Look at what our own MPs are doing to the party which took them to power. The party wa Munaya Funisha Wantu Munsara. But look at the way by Wumpia, Ama MPs. Ama MPs, Ama Winning 2021. By Wumpia Sanam Parliament.
Bamwewa, Sondwele Len Bamwewa.
So, again, Sondwele, Utumpush walks to a delivered spirit, what Shapa each penny. Now, the question is, if persecution PF from the UPND can be the best, initially, because by then, Antua was the assistant to Mr. Mazok. So Antua now is works very closely in our present. So, that's those are some of the issues Mwamba Singapore Kwishopan, Kakuri PF. Like my members were Kambiri, my brothers were all family of Wakambiri Wakontoka and Mbafna, no work. No work. That's what I am.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador, this is Robert from Mr. Cody again.
Robert from Manchester, yes.
I think one of the callers was, I think, when he was talking about what I said about the government not providing jobs to the people and then calling them lazy. And what we could say, I think he's a very lucky man that he's got a job. But then numbers do not lie. And I think people do not realize the role of the government. Because not everyone in our country is privileged enough to have access to funds to go to university or to go to school. If your family is very poor, you expect the government to create policies that will enable you to move from where you are, where you go through college, or you finish university and then you get a job. So I think what he was trying to say there, I think it's very naive, because with him, and what I didn't like is the emphasis before he could say anything that me and Bemba. What does that has to do with the government creating jobs? So what is he trying to tell us? So that we should believe everything that he's going to say because of his tribe? That is not how we should look at issues in our country.
He's probably not even Bemba. Why you start like that?
Yes, because the emphasis, or for him to say, by the way, I am Bemba, for me, that actually rules out exactly his argument because then you could see that there's a narrative that is trying to deliver to the people that are listening, probably for people to believe him that is right. There are people that have jobs, but the majority of our people in our country are suffering. And the job of the government is to create policies. If the government cannot employ everyone in our country, but they can help to make sure that those people that are in business are able to employ more people by creating good policies, good tax system, so that you could have good investors that give people real jobs. But for him to come up with that kind of a conversation where you're trying to actually make it okay for the government to say that, that's very, very wrong. The government has to design policies for economic growth. They have to find ways of public investment in the country to come in. Education, skills development, and all those things, support for small, medium enterprises, which we could all say it's not there because of the load shedding issue that our country is facing. There are so many areas that we could say. But what my brother was saying there, and I'm happy for him that he's got a job, but there was no need for him to bring the emphasis of the tribe. I think that's wrong. We shouldn't have debates in those lines. But numbers do not lie. The Zambians are struggling. People are more poor now than they were 4 years ago. That is a fact. And the country, everything is broken in our country. But yes, there are people that have jobs. So we're not saying everyone in our country does not have jobs. But the majority of our Zambians are poor. You know, so I think that was very wrong for him. Said, no, the government cannot give everyone jobs. Yes, we are aware. Not everyone is a civil servant in our country. But there are people that work in the private sector, and it's the role of the government to create an environment for more investors to come and create jobs, and also to help people have the skills to do the kind of work. So I think, that's what I wanted to say. I think we shouldn't have those kind of debates where people come with tribes. You give your argument, and I'm very happy he's got a job, but the government has failed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've put up a picture there. Someone has said, why haven't you discussed the issue of Honorable Jean Chisenga? She's a member of parliament for Mambilima constituency in Luapula, and she was brutally attacked while at parliament, in the parliament precinct. And the police and the Speaker of the National Assembly have not said anything, not even State House. I think that was a terrible, terrible occurrence where they attacked Jean Chisenga, Honorable Member of Parliament for Mambilima. And someone prompted me that, Ambassador, you have not discussed this, especially that it happened on the official opening of Parliament. Remember last time the President was opening, Jean Chisenga told the President, but President Ubu fee. So today, you know, on Friday, I think they targeted her to ensure that she doesn't attend, and she was brutally beaten. There she was lying at a private hospital, and we hope that they'll take this matter seriously. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Ambassador Mwamba, it's me again, Madam Unknown from the AI Kingdom.
Thank you.
I also was forced to call back because I think this is the narrative that the UPND wants to run with, or numbers. You want to lie with numbers. And in the document that I said I came across, which is the leaked government, the leaked UPND strategy for them to win the election, one of the things that they've highlighted in that document is to attack every media person who's speaking for injustices. For instance, you are speaking for the people injustice. Queen Pumi speaking for the injustices. So there've been a guy given the target of coming to your platform and some kind of disregard what you're saying. For instance, the guy who came with I'm Bemba, I have a job and all that. We are talking about one person. What did President HH say when he was in opposition? Wasn't he saying, whenever you see me, you say, Barry, how many of those, when he said Bali Inchtomuriwe, how many of those can today say Bali Inchtomuriwe who've got jobs now? And then, like the previous caller has indicated, he's talking about having policies that are going to be favorable for the youth. Let's look at the current unemployment youth currently. It's at 9.8%. Meaning the youth, how much is the population of the youth? And then you say 9% of those who are in the labor force are not employed. So you talk with numbers. Don't come here and tell us because you go and get a job in the CDF and you think, oh, and then everybody has gotten a job. Let me just highlight one thing, Ambassador. It was not long ago when we saw Mwizukanji go on a platform and she said, who is going to speak for us SMEs because of the load shedding? We all know that was also a narrative to show that the government is listening, because the following day we were seeing the Minister of Youth and Sport engaging with the small and medium enterprises. We all know where that was coming from and so forth. So these are some of the things which we're saying to say, just because you got a job does not mean the majority of the youths have gotten the jobs. We look at the numbers, and numbers, like my previous caller said, don't lie. So that is one aspect I also wanted to emphasize and just bring out to your attention. And then when I called, actually, I meant to speak also on one factor of Mr. Kabesha. Mr. Kabesha himself, following the speech that the president gave to say, court should be our last resort. And I said earlier on to say, the president should have given a directive to Mr. Kabesha to withdraw the case, to show that what he was talking about was not rhetoric speech, but action-oriented. That is another thing I wanted to mention. Then on our my member of parliament, Jean Chisenga, it is very, very uncalled for. It's very, very embarrassing. You go and target a young girl because you know that she's going to be in parliament and be able to debate that speech. You now go and beat her in the parliament and in the full force of the police. Where are we as a nation? And you as a president, in your speech, you're talking about rule of law. Does that really make sense? It doesn't make sense, because exactly what Queen Fumi was saying, the president says this and the other thing is doing the other thing. And he has not even blamed that or condemned that, meaning he was in support of that. So these are some of the things we are saying. The president, what he says does not make sense. It's rhetoric. He should be consistent with the truth and so forth. So thank you so much, Ambassador, for giving me an opportunity to call back again and make a contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that clarification. You came. Okay, now you are our last caller, my dear brother. Hello, caller. Are you there? Oh, just a minute. Hello? Yes, caller, you are our last caller.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, this is Michael Perry. I want just to contribute about what happened at Parliament building, where a member of Parliament was beaten by the UPND cadre. This is uncalled for. I think the president should come out and protect members of Parliament. And this is what happened to JJ Panda. He was abducted, and it also happened to Munia Zulu. They almost abducted him from the Parliament and was protected by, I think, by that time, Chief Whip, the leader of opposition was Honorable Brian Mundubile. And when our members of Parliament, who are lawmakers, if they can be vulnerable and beaten at the promises, and the government and the president are quiet, the police are quiet, we are demanding that those who clobbered Honorable Member of Madam Jean Chisenga, they should be arrested immediately. There is no sacred cow, because they used to say that under the PF they were thugs. Now under UPND, which President Hakainde Hichilema, he said that cadres are gone. But why cadres now are beating members of Parliament in Parliament at their workplace? This is uncalled for. Then the other thing which I wanted to talk about is this man who is wearing Dr. Mwari. Let let all those PF labels, they should now declare, they should go to UPND instead of people to start counting the head and the tail when they are supporting UPND. And the Honorable Speaker of National, Madam Nelly Mut, declare if it were for PF, you would have done it within some seconds. But why are you taking time? Because they work together with Javinga. All those, the labels, they know themselves. When those from Eastern Province, they know themselves. Let them resign so that they create by-elections rather than hiding in the name of the Patriotic Front when they are not even helping the Zambian people. So Zambians, we must be ready. We must wear our armor to defend ourselves. You remember last week, Gilbert Liswaniso, he was also on the radio trying to threaten the UPND members. He's not threatening UPND members. He's also threatening Zambian people that if you're going to support independent people, we are going to deal with you. So Zambians, we must stand the way David stood, that we must prepare ourselves and defend and fight these uncircumcised Philistines. I'll call them uncircumcised Philistines because they always want to provoke the Zambian people. We gave them power. They said there was too much Kadarism, but why today they are still provoking and trying to beat our members of parliament? Zambians, we are now bitter and we are going to show them in the ballot box. And Zambians, we must stand and defend our constitution. As the constitution stated that we must protect and defend, this is the time we must defend. And those serious members of parliament, they must impeach the president. They should start a motion now to impeach the president because he has breached the main constitution in our country. We are now tired. We are now getting upset. You know, it's not fair. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Okay, I think now we ought to close. Queen Pumi, are you ready?
Often at ceremonial events, you wear white gloves. Why do you wear white gloves?
British traditions. So, if you check ceremonial opening of Parliament, it will be happening, the session of Parliament. I'm supposed to go in a saloon of a certain time and color. And besides, is a horse carriage. British heritage, colonial heritage, which should we continue with it? Do we not? So the questions for me to ask. So we still have tradition.
So you're not a member of a secret group?
I know what you said. This character has been defined in so many ways in my years in opposition, including being caught things that I'm not. So it comes with the territory. I wish the environment to be cleaner.
Besides that, Madam Speaker, we should not rush to court when we have a challenge, even at a family level, business level, government level. Court is the last resort. When dialogue is challenged, court is the last resort. Madam Speaker, I have to emphasize that so we don't get mixed feelings in this house. KCM has paid off a large...
Wonderful, Queen Pumi. This has been a wonderful program, very insightful. Callers supported the program and our position, and they ran us through the issues of the national address by the president, issues of the young lady, Ethel Chisoni Edwards. The U.S. Embassy have issued a statement that the president of the U.S., Donald Trump, signed an executive order that Americans who are arrested, willy-nilly over flimsy issues, those governments who suffer issues including sanctions. Then we went into the details of the address by the president. His numbers about economic growth, the issues around the mining sector, agricultural sector, I think we dissected them. The sad matter of Jinch Senga, it has come from callers, and it's a pity that we didn't get it. We didn't get it. I don't know how I missed that, especially that it happened in Parliament. Let me just invite your comments about the matter of Jinch Senga.
Yes, so the matter of Jinch Senga is actually heartbreaking because she's a woman. That's number one. above all things, it's looking at a young woman who is an MP attacked on parliamentary grounds. Where is Zambia police? Where is police at the parliament? Where is the Speaker of Assembly in all this? Where is VP Nalumango in all this? So it just shows us to the extent of lawlessness that this government can go. We have a president in his speech, he mentioned about rule of law. So what rule of law if under the nose of the president, a member, honorable member of parliament is attacked there? My heart bleeds. You know, my heart bleeds, and I wish Madam Honorable Chisenga quick recovery. She's a young lady. Maybe she could be my daughter's age. You know, she already suffered another blow when, for making a comment against the president, her house was burnt. So, UPND, what kind of politics are you practicing where you can't tolerate uh, your opposition? You know, members of parliament have been worse hit opposing UPND. Zambia police ba Grafael Msamba, ba Jack Mwimbu, ba Roha Monga, where are you? You know, these are crimes against humanity, crimes against top officials in the opposition to be beaten honestly, and all of you are quiet. It is a shame, really. It is really a shame. And I'm going to tie in my closing remarks on the budget, on the speech that was presented, and the Bill 7, and finally, just my final comments on everything. So coming to talk about the abduction, we are calling it abduction. So we know, I personally, I don't know her, I don't know Ethel Chisono personally, but I follow her, and I started following her when her videos went viral of her using profanity. Personally, I don't support profanity, but I am a human rights advocate, and we are here to advocate against injustice. So in the matter of Madam Ethel, it is not why she was arrested, it is how she was arrested. And that's why we see the US Embassy publish a statement about wrongly arresting American citizens. We tell you to say, it's only you Zambians who don't respect the rule of law. In your own country, even disrespecting law among a lawmaker. Honorable Chisenga is a lawmaker, but the same law which she is protecting, which she is creating to legislate, part of to legislate, has failed her. And now, again, we see a woman. The details of this arrest of this Madam Ethel is actually jaw dropping. There is some deception. She was lured there. She was promised, and lo and behold, she was captured. You know. So we thank the United States for standing and actually bringing out this memo that wrongful arrests will not be tolerated. I repeat, it's not why Ethel was captured wrongfully that we are upset about. It is how they did it. Yes, she has to answer for her charges, but do it the wrong way. My take on the budget, on the speech by the president downplayed the hardships of Zambians. They like his implementation, again, promises. There is no timeline for his implementation of all the promises he made. It was weak on energy and the cost of living for the people. Let me just remind Zambians that only less than 40% of Zambia is electrified. If you didn't know, you can research. So Zambia, less than 40% is electrified. And those 40% Zambian who are connected to the grid are lacking power. So where is the plan in electrifying the entire Zambia if you can't even electrify a 40%, a meager 40% of the population? It is a shame. The statements, they were vague against corruption, and I expected the president to say something against corruption in his government, which he did not. He didn't address our criticism, like he's just oblivious to the mounting criticism. Instead of confronting what he's facing, he is ignoring us and trying to shut the opposition. I want to remind the president that he was in opposition for 20 years and no one shut him up. Among the cases that the president has, when he was in opposition, speaking is none of them. So the president enjoyed speaking freely, offering checks and balances. Of course, he had a few mishaps here and there, but the president and people such as myself continued to speak freely under the UPND, under the PF government. Now, to fast forward to today, UPND have the audacity in a leaked document to even have a plan to clamp down opposing voices. This is laughable. A point to clamp down Facebook. I don't know if this is true or not. They are already like clamped down Facebook, but they are even trying just to shut down Facebook so that only their lies, Zambian can listen to their lies like it is Swaniso. Zambian can listen to lies of Mwaliteta. Zambian can listen to the intimidatory remarks of Tabesha. You are lazy. This is what they want us to do, to brainwash Zambians to think we are not good, we are failing. In the end, we take a suicide and kill ourselves because we think we are not working hard enough. There is a limited focus on social protections, and he raised the expectations without looking at the caveats or the risks. The president promised 8,400 new beds for university students. Mr. President, university students are not the only ones who need your help. In fact, university students, they don't need your help. They are already on a path to get their education, and when they graduate, hopefully they will land a job or become entrepreneurs. Mr. President, I challenge you to think about the 20 million Zambians who are suffering. That woman in Shangombo, in Sesheke, in Muyombe, in Nakonde, the woman who was waiting for that ambulance which never arrived, the woman who wants her antiviral drugs because she didn't even know how she got the HIV. These are the things we want you to address. Attorney General Kabesha, has he heard of the Sustainable Development Goals Initiative of the UN of 2030? Where is Zambia at in providing free, affordable shelter, housing, and water? Of course, we have the free education. It is a sham. The free education is a sham because we know that some of the teachers who were hired don't even have a grade 12 certificate. So it's garbage in, garbage out. You have unqualified teachers. Teach what quality of a citizenship are we going to have? I'm moving to the Bill 7. Bill 7 is BID. It was rejected by the Concord, the highest court in the land. So the president and Mulusa to come here and say we are bringing back Bill 7 is a contempt and he should be impeached. The president should be impeached if he tries to bring the Bill 7 back. This should be the last straw that is going to break the camel's back. We have tolerated the president's abrogation of the constitution with impunity, but this Bill 7, if it comes back, it will change the rules of the game in the 11th hour. Why? Is this why the president has also overruled the emoluments committee and give judges, increase judges' pay and the housing allowances so they can support him in the Bill 7? Is this why? If it is so, my dear judges, the day of reckoning will come. If any judges decide to overrule the Concord and push this Bill 7 into law, there will be a day of reckoning for all of you. I am saying this as a human rights advocate and as a Zambian. Enough is enough. We are tired of you Zambians betraying the country. You people given positions of power. You are betraying the country for utufumo twenu. Ingo tufumo twabena Zambia.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes, and lastly, I just want to say Zambia is the poorest country, among the 60 poorest country, and let's not allow the looting of resources. And my closing part is if this Bill 7 passes, it is going to add a third MPs, which will be handpicked by the president. And you know our constitution, two-thirds are required to make any change. So if the president has a third, and then from this delimitation, adding 55 MPs, that's almost a third, then he's going to have his MPs a third. So Nishibakwata 2/3. So once they have these 2/3, my dear, let's even forget about this election in 2026. So with all our might and power, let us put it out there. If you bring this Bill 7, if it passes, we might as well forget about the general election in 2026. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for this opportunity. And Zambians, let's keep talking. Let us be politically correct. They are out there to get us and incriminate us. But we are not scared. We shall be politically correct, and we shall continue to fight for our country. Thank you.
Wonderful. Today we were reviewing the president's speech to the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly. It's literally his last address. We went through the issues that he had addressed. He was very optimistic. His government is very optimistic, but we think that the loopholes are too much. The rhetoric of the last 4 years and the challenges that Zambians have gone through in the last 4 years cannot just be wished away. I was being supported by Pumulos Tumbeko. She's a leader of the New Era Party. And on blogs and on podcasts, she's called Queen Pumi. She helped me discuss all these issues from this Mulilo Kabesha, the Attorney General, mocking Zambians, to the MP, Dr. Simon Mwale of Nchelenge, who's trying to defect to the UPND, has defected to the UPND. He branded himself and wore a UPND t-shirt, and we're calling that there should be a by-election in accordance with the lawyers crossed the floor. We discussed the issue of the young lady, Ethel Chisoni Edward, was abducted in Chilenge, and we don't know where she is, but the US ambassador issued an alert reminding Zambians and the government of Zambia that on 5th September, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that might attract and punish governments that are detaining US citizens. So you better watch out. So Queen Pumi, tomorrow I would invite you to join, maybe in calling or in whatever you can. I'm hosting another lady, Dolika Banda. She's a financial analyst. She's an international banker, worked for one of the wings for the IMF, the IFC, and she will be with us tomorrow at 20 hours. What is her journey? What are her prospects? Is she going to throw in her hat into the presidency for 2023? What vehicle will she use? Will she form a political party? Will she join another political party? As she joins the likes of, Pumulos Tumbeko, who is a New Era Democratic Party leader, and others in the opposition. What is our view? How is our analysis of the state of our country? She last held a position of the CMI chair and things went very wrong, went south. Is she willing to discuss that matter? So join us tomorrow at 20 hours as we host Dolly Kabanda. Along the way, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, we have Mr. John Sangwa. He's a regular on this platform, but I think he has fresh insights of 2026 elections. So, Queen Pumi, thank you very much, and say your last goodbyes to your audience and to all the callers that supported this program.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. It's been awesome. It's a pleasure. Remember to share the platforms. We are dealing with the Mingalat on Facebook.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Our dear viewers, there's voter registration going on, NRC registration going on. The UPND have been maneuvering silently on these issues because they know what makes a number is the people that will turn up to vote. So while you are saying on these platforms that we'll change government, kuyabebele UPND, chilema kuyabebele, there is another act you have to do. And Queen Pumi, we might have to find a day in the week because ECZ has done something. They've registered a number of electoral officials and they've just issued NRC numbers, have hidden the names. And from what we are hearing is that recruitment across the country is skewed in a direction that's not beneficial for our country. We might find a day. And thank you for joining me and for joining this broadcast. God bless you. God bless our country. Our country will be free. God bless you. Thank you.